This is my favourite one, okay? Do you think your wife would enjoy Skullface more than Bobby?
You know, I'm not sure I know exactly where they're coming from, Miss Forged Circuit, but if they mean intimately, we haven't tried that yet, but I think she'd probably be up for it. We've been together for a long time, like since I was 15, so we've anything that you've ever fantasized about doing, not you personally, my dear, but the viewers, we've probably done it and gotten tired of it and don't need to do that anymore. So we're always looking for something new and interesting, and maybe Skullface will be that.
Who's the most annoying Transformer character?
Wheelie? Or, no, you know what? That's not fair. You know who I think it is? I think Cheetor from Beast Wars. All that big bot nonsense, all that, it drives me nuts. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. I knew that kid. You know, that kid was the coach's son on the Little League team that always got to bat first and struck out every game. That's him.
I like your point.
And speaking of the character I like the least, somebody asked me what my 5 favorite Transformer characters are. Dead End is my favorite Transformer ever. I just like his general nihilistic ways. The Stunticon G1 Dead End. My other 4 would probably be Whirl from IDW and Swerve from IDW. Soundwave. I like the loyalty aspect. Loyalty is a trait that I really, really find attractive and inspiring. And Grimlock, just because I'm kind of a Grimlock kind of guy. I don't think a whole lot before I make certain decisions, and I have a tendency to be overly aggressive at times.
If a third-party company made their own characters with their own media, would you feel compelled to support it?
No, not at all. Because my allegiance and my loyalty isn't to these companies, just like it isn't to Hasbro or Takara. My allegiance and my loyalty and my interests are in the characters. So I don't have any interest in any original characters that they would do, necessarily. Now, if they created some fiction or like a movie or something and I got into it, then I would want their product, but I'm in it for the connection to the characters. So no, not necessarily.
Have you ever considered quitting making, videos?
Yeah, I've thought about it from time to time. It takes time. It's time consuming, man. Like it takes up a lot of time. It takes up a lot of energy. And I've thought about it, but the feedback I've gotten has been so overly positive that it keeps me going. Some of the love that I get, in comments or in person or whatever it's just been so overwhelming. I initially did it for one reason and now I do it for basically for you guys. Really, I mean, as cliche as that sounds, it's definitely true.
What is your favorite drink?
I used to drink liquor. A lot. I used to drink Belvedere straight, and then I started drinking Crown and Coke. The older I get, the less I'm able to kind of handle that sort of thing. So I drink beer now. I drink a beer. I prefer Sam Adams at the moment. You can find it anywhere. It tastes acceptable as far as beer. I'm not a big beer guy. Beer generally tastes like a tub of piss somebody farted in, but I do drink a Sam Adams, and I like the Oktoberfest, and I like a chocolate milkshake, and coffee. That's kind of like coffee. I have 2 cups of coffee every morning, and sometimes more throughout the day. But those first 2 cups of coffee in the morning, that is very important to me.
What is your childhood dream?
My childhood dream was to be like an archaeologist, dig up dinosaur bones, and then I thought about designing toys at one point early on, and then I thought about doing pornography and male stripping, but then I got fat and ugly, so I stopped with that. I kind of put that dream on hold for a minute, and now I'm living my dream for the most part. Nothing's perfect, but I'm pretty happy.
What's one place that you've always wanted to visit?
Well, the more I look at this video feed, the more I'm thinking about taking a flight over to England, if you know what I'm saying.
So, what is your favourite non-transforming?
That's an easy one for me. I know exactly what it is. It's Play Arts Kai, Arkham City, Harley Quinn. She doesn't hold her bat right, but aside from that, that thing is perfect.
Why the mask?
to protect my loved ones.
What inspired you to do reviews?
Twofold on this. I watched reviewers of other guys back then. I don't watch it so much now because I don't like to have my views tainted by anyone. I watch really two reviewers regularly. One was because I saw people like brushing over stuff and not really mentioning stuff that I felt like the viewers should know about, and I don't know what their, and I have a feeling I know, but I don't really know what their motivations are, what makes them do that. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to let people know what was going on. So that was motivation number one. Motivation number two was, you know, doing podcasts or showing up on shows and stuff, and people seem to be generally interested in my opinion. So I figured, why not do videos and see if anything comes out of it? And I've been really happy with the feedback. So,
would you ever consider, you know, updating your mask?
Absolutely. But it's kind of become a standard thing now, you know. So I don't know. I think it might take away from it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
What do you think of these, you know, collectible figures that have corresponding computer games? If Hasbro did this, do you think that you would be interested in that?
You know, what that is these companies trying to tap into the millennials and these new generations of kids that are so in touch with technology that they're really buying the game, and the action figure they're hoping is kind of a gateway drug. So it doesn't really interest me, but at least they're not completely phasing the action figure out now. But I'm pretty sure within the next 10 to 20 years we will see the disappearance of the action figure at the collector point, at the collector grade. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see seeing the generation stuff. We'll see seeing the legends. We'll see seeing stuff like that. And that kind of stuff. We'll see seeing it in regular retail is what I mean. That stuff will move more over to internet sales, more over to comic book shops and stuff like that.
How old were you when you drew your first Transformer, and do you still have it?
I was in elementary school, and I can tell you what it was. It was Ravage, and this is terrible. Okay, so I never got to see the Vector Sigma episode, the Stunticon episode. Stunticons are my favorite characters. So I always saw the first part of the Vector Sigma. I always saw the first part. I never saw the second part. Like, it was a two-parter, and I always saw part one, but part two I always had something like Little League practice, or, you know, I had to go to my mom's house or whatever it was. Like, I never got to see part two. So they were rerunning them on Sci-Fi Network at like 7 a.m. And I was watching them every morning before school. And one morning was part one, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for part two. And anyway, the next day ended up being a snow day, and my grandmother like didn't wake me up. She was letting me sleep, and I missed the part two, and I threw a fit like a spoiled brat. I threw a fit, and I like tore up this picture of Ravage that I had drawn, like it would like hurt her in some way, which is stupid and ridiculous. But I think about that fairly often. So no, I don't have them anymore. But that was my first one. It was a picture of Ravage. And look, let me tell you, the only reason why I got away with that is because my dad was at work and my grandma was watching me. Had my dad been home, he would have kicked my ass. Rightfully so.
Where can I find your intro music?
On iTunes. Search Skullface Solid Unit, and I have the instrumental on there. And feel free to review it.
Who is your favourite wrecker?
Definitely Whirl. I just kind of like that, his general attitude. But I love the wreckers in general. I love that, you know, this team of guys you send in when nobody else can do it, like this mop-up squad. Like it's like special ops or something. I dig that.
Did you ever own a Transformer sleeping bag?
No, I never had a Transformer sleeping bag, but I do have this. This was my Star Wars Return of the Jedi sleeping bag. I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. I don't really do the great outdoors or camp or any of that nonsense, so but I still have it.
And what's the #1 masterpiece figure that you would love to see made?
Honestly, I know this is a tall order, but I want to see a masterpiece Devastator. 6 parts that work right, made by Takara with their expertise. You know, individual bots would be about the size of MP cars, and give me a Devastator. That's what I want.
What is your favourite music?
My favorite kind of music is industrial rock. Like 9 Inch Nails is my favorite band of all time. I've seen them live a couple times, and I actually have 9 Inch Nails lyrics tattooed on me. Like, I'm a big 9 Inch Nails fan. I love The Fragile. The Fragile is my most favorite piece of music ever. I love a lot of stuff, man. I'm kind of a music nerd. I can talk about music for days. I love like 90s hip hop. I love Nirvana. I love David Bowie. I love I don't know. just to specify 90s hip hop, like I listen to like Wu-Tang Clan and Biggie and Boot Camp Click and Jay-Z and Nas and stuff like that. But like, I don't really listen to a lot of stuff anymore. I just don't really care for what's coming out these days. But industrial rock is my favorite. I love Maynard, I love Pussifer and Tool and Perfect Circle and all that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. That is my number one.
What was the first favorite toy you had as a kid?
My first favorite toy as a kid was my Star Wars figures. That was my first collection. I loved the Star Wars 3 3/4 line from Kenner. I had most of them, and my mom threw them away when I wasn't watching them, just to be spiteful. She was just that type of gal, and that's why I think I've kind of got this itch for Star Wars 3 3/4 that I can just never scratch. Like I'm always trying to complete that set, and if you follow Star Wars 3 3/4, it is the most difficult collection to finish. Because there's just so many exclusives and different things. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So Star Wars is like my, Star Wars will always have a special place in my heart because of that. But speaking of collecting nightmares, there was somebody that asked me if I ever had a nightmare getting a piece or a nightmare story about my collection. And the closest thing I got is a Christmas story. My parents were split up like most modern families, and my mom never really got me anything that I wanted. Or she didn't really know who I was. I wasn't there much. And my dad told her one year, like, do not buy the G1 Predacons, because he was going to get that for me for Christmas. So out of spite, she got me the G1 Predacons, and or she got me like 3 of them. And like it raised this big stink in my house. Like my dad had already got him, and he was furious, and they started feuding. And my dad actually returned the 3, so I had like 3 at my mom's house, and then 2 at my dad's house, and it was just ugly. Like it was just being a kid caught up in that.
What do you not like about Bad Cube?
Bad Cube, I didn't like the huffer that they put out. I something set my spidey sense off about it, and I think that's pretty much been justified. I like their brawny. I wish that my main issue with brawny is that the torso and the pelvis don't tab together. If it did, I'd be all over that thing. I think that my main issue with them, like, I'm not going to go with their Insecticons. I'm going to go with Fans Toys Insecticons, and I think the main reason is because like you can just see like they love to use panels. They love to fold them up, sit them to the side, collapse them here, sit these to the back, and it's cool, it works, it's just not my favorite. I am definitely going to get their Warpath, though. I think there's a lot of promise in their company, too, I want to say. Like, I think that they could become something great. I just don't think they're quite there yet, and their prices are as if they already are.
And what are your thoughts on X-Transbot? Because, it's X-Transbot.
Let's see, I like their huffer. It's not the best thing in the world, but I like it, and I like pipes. Not the best thing in the world, but I like it. Ollie is garbage, and we'll see. Apollyon is going to tell a lot. I mean, that Megatron, like, it needs to be great, but with those ball-jointed shoulders and stuff, and the elbows look wonky, I don't know if you've seen them, I'm just not quite sure if they're going to pull it off or not, but my fingers are definitely crossed. So, here's hoping. So, I just want to take a minute and say thanks for watching these Q&A videos. Hope they were informative a bit, and I hope you enjoyed them. I want to give a special thank you to Emily. She didn't have to do that, and she did. She humored me, and she's fantastic. She has balls, and I can respect that. And you should definitely follow her on Instagram. It's at The Forged Circuit with a K, and with an S instead of a C. I will have her Instagram below in both videos, so make sure you follow her on Instagram. She takes a pretty cool picture of a toy too. So thank you, my dear. It was fun. I hope you'll do it again. And to the rest of y'all, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, take care.
If a third-party company made their own, if a third-party blah 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 la la la. Have you ever considered quitting making? Have you ever considered? Oh, for fuck's sake.